the Monday after I finished my SPM, I found myself really aimless. I don't know why, but I went to my home church in Tower, and when the pastor asked me why I was there, I blurted out that I want to work in church. Surprisingly, he offered me a job. What was initially meant for 3 months became 6 months, 9 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, and it ended up 10 years. I was 17. Uh, 17 years ago, on an unassuming night after leading cell group, God gave me a picture of a church service. The atmosphere was electrifying and the worshippers were really passionately worshiping God and serving Jesus. I knew at that point God gave me a vision of a brand new church, but I was really reluctant because I loved my former pastor, my former church. That was the church that I was in, the church that I grew up. And even after many pastors, guest speakers, and even singers would confirm that picture was a vision from God, I was not excited to do anything. But finally, in March 2001, I took the courage, resigned with a heavy heart, left my former church, and started a connect group in my old flat, a very small place. So we gathered. My dear wife now, her dad, one day came to me and said, "Kevin, you really need a spiritual covering." We already started the church and I didn't know what to do. I was from Sabah, we're in KL now. The nearest place I could go was to go and find Pastor Kong in Singapore. And after talking to Pastor for a few times, he was really kind enough to provide the spiritual covering for our church. And thus the beginning of that journey of our church.
Under the leadership of Pastor Kong, we grew in our vision, capacity, and confidence. As Pastor Kong has always taught us, revival is spelled as hard work. We go all out to reach out to our friends and our families. We begin to see people added into our midst. It has indeed been a great journey, from a small apartment to school halls, to where we are today, a place we call our own. This has indeed been a great journey.
3 years ago, Kevin came to me and told me that God spoke to him again, and it was beyond his wildest imagination. God told him to not only influence our cities, but cities around the world.
As usual, I was reluctant because it was a very challenging period of my life and my confidence was at an all-time low. It was very difficult for me to believe that God would want to use me even more, let alone stretch me to go into all the cities of the world. But truly our God is amazing. The gospel is not about how we hold to God, but how He never let us go. So about a year ago, God gave me a series of messages on Fix Your Form. The thought of preaching that was to impact the church, but little did the church know that it was actually to help their own pastor. Through that sermon series, I slowly regained strength and took the courage to look into the future. And despite my inaction in the last couple of years, 4 churches come under our leadership, and I know God is really trying to say something to me loud and clear.
We don't have the full picture of what lies ahead, but we believe that our God is a God of the future.
Growing up, there are 3 passages in the Bible that resonate with my spirit, and over the years, they become the guideposts for both my personal and ministerial life.
In 2 Chronicles 5, King Solomon brought the Ark of God into the temple, and the people of God were as one to make one sound unto God. As a result, God's presence descended upon the temple. This is something we always long for, to have the tangible presence of God in all our gatherings, without which nothing we do would ever be meaningful or impactful.
Fast forward to the New Testament. In Acts chapter 2, on the day of Pentecost, again we see when the community of believers were gathered together with one accord in one place, we witness the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. Again, it was their singular purpose that brought them together, that brought heaven down on earth and empowered them beyond the four walls of the church.
The outpouring of the Holy Spirit in Acts 2 was the fulfillment of what was promised in Acts 1 verse 8. That when the Holy Spirit has come upon them, they shall receive power and become witnesses for Jesus in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth.
These three passages reflect our primary core values of God-centeredness, community, and disciple-making. And the tangible reality of God is only unlocked when the people are of one heart and act as one collectively.